Jim, Ed, and Andrew here. We are up at the Proven Conference, Proven Amazon Conference in Columbus, Ohio. This is podcast number 8. So I'm going to kick us off. We're going to go over some numbers. We're going to go over some stuff that we've been catching up with up at the conference here that's been very interesting to us. And just go over a few things that we've been studying lately, more around getting approval process to get onto the Amazon influencer. So, Andrew, will you kick us off with your numbers?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm at 302 for the last 7 days. Is what
Nice.
I'm making. Yeah, so it's other podcasts. I think I was trending closer to 260, 270. So I'm over 300 for the last 7 days. I guess if you could project that out, it's going to be close. Definitely going to be over 1,000. Is what I'm
Nice.
projecting. So pretty happy with that. I know you're the one hustling at this for sure, but pretty solid. Pretty happy with 1,000, with over $1,000.
Yeah, Andrew's been hitting it a lot harder. We talk like daily, so he's had a lot of days that's been more over the $50,
Yeah.
more up into the 70s, right? Did you have your biggest day this last week?
$79.
Yeah.
That was my best day yet. So
Nice.
if you project that out, obviously it's not going to be every day, but that's over 2,000 if you project that out. $50 days, that's going to be $1,500, right? To do that math. So
It's encouraging, isn't it?
it is encouraging.
It is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So how are your numbers?
my numbers are doing very well. And it just takes me back. I remember taking that, just like you just said, if you take that $79 and you multiply
Yeah.
it by 30 and multiply that by 12 and you
Yep.
project it out, it's like, I remember doing that and going, wow, dreaming that it could be
Yeah.
$79 a day average. And honestly, now I'm at the point, if it's under 100, I'm kind of like, well, it was a bad day. So I had a bad day this week. It was pretty bad. It wasn't less than zero, but it was $15. So I had a $15 day today. That was about 4 days ago. But the next day, it more than made up for it. I think something was a little glitchy with the Amazon on that day. Your numbers were weird that day too, weren't they?
It's like $2. Yeah. Hey, you know what, Jim? Ed? I love that story you told me about the car factory, and I think that's a good example of what you're shooting for. So when I get to 50, now I'm not. 50 was a big number a couple of weeks ago. Like, oh my gosh, 50! It's my highest numbers ever. 50's now it's like, oh no, I want 70. I got 79, and then once you hit 79, you're like, you know what? I want to hit 100 now. And now his 100 is even like, it's okay.
Yeah.
He wants to hit 150. So talk about that a little bit. Maybe the short version of that story where he wrote the number on there.
Yeah,
That's a really cool story. I like that.
There's a J.P.
Yeah.
Morgan story. I'll butcher it up a little bit, but basically they were in a factory setting and they were making 3 units on the day shift and about 3 units on the night shift. And J.P. Morgan rolled in there and took a piece of chalk and wrote a big 3 on the floor. And then when the night shift came in, they were like, well, what's this 3 about? And they were like, oh, that's how many units the day shift produced. Nothing else was said, just put the 3 on the floor. So then, of course, they jumped in and knocked out 4 units that night. And they erased the 3 themselves and wrote 4 on there. And, of course, now the day shift was challenged. Next thing you know, they're both producing 6 to 7. So just kind of how things work with some encouragement.
Yeah.
Could be, that wasn't negative, really, but it gave the proper incentive to fight and push and win. So yeah, so to my numbers, I had a $15 day. Then the next day, it more than made up for it. I had a $407 day.
Man.
And then the day after, which was yesterday, I had a $218 day, which for me now, anything over, I want to be at 130 or more on average. And that's going to give me about $4,000 a month. Last month I hit a little over, I think it was right at 3,600. I put up, in the last week, I put up 66 videos. Really been hitting it hard. Took a few days off work, which allowed me, was coming up to this conference, so I went ahead and took a couple more days off and knocked out a bunch of videos. So we've got Prime Day coming up. I'm very curious to see what that's going to look like. I can't wait to share those numbers with you guys. But for the week, I'm at 1,081. So I am, for the last 7 days anyway, 1,081. So I am on track to hit my next goal, which is $4,000 a month. Then we're going to kind of go from there. But it's pretty cool. The more videos you get, of course, the more money you're going to make. But kind of the more consistent, it evens out some. I mean, I know I had a $15 to $400 swing. But, the guy we refer to all the time, our buddy Cody, he's just getting going on it. And he's had some, he's put videos up. He's had some sales. but he just don't have enough videos up to have consistent days. He's had a $4 day, then he has a $0 day, and it's like, oh, why can't
And
you gotta have some more videos.
what's really admirable about what Jim Ed's doing, there's consistency as far as how often he's doing videos. He's doing videos almost every day, but there's also the season of the sprints. He's doing these sprints. I know a lot of companies are doing the sprints per se. It's a big thing. Like you just hustle, you just go crazy in those days. You get that stuff done, and then you can take a break for a little while. It's the sprinting. The sprint. It's almost an interval approach, right? So tell us about 4th of July. Most people were hanging out with families, enjoying that nice day. Not to say that he didn't enjoy the day, but you use it as a day. You had a certain goal for yourself, and you uploaded. What'd you say? You did 28 videos, 26 videos.
26 videos.
26 videos on 4th of July. So it doesn't mean that everyone should be doing that, but he had that goal set before he went to this conference to have a certain number of videos done. In fact, he surpassed his goals, and now you have how many videos up?
I think I'm at 271 now.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So just a great example, and this is great for me too to see him hustling and doing this stuff. So he doesn't hold it over me, but just seeing him do this makes me want to do more. So surround yourself with people who are doing better than you at that thing that you're aspiring to do. Okay. So don't hang out with people who are dragging you down. Hang out with people who are going to drag you up. Okay.
Yep.
So, and I think that's a really important, and what we're talking about a lot of these things, we don't want to just talk about these tactical aspects of Amazon influencer. Okay. We want to talk about the bigger themes that we're seeing. This conference, for instance, it's about Amazon. But if you walked into a room and to hear some of the principles that Jim Cockrum was talking about, you wouldn't even known it was Amazon. You'd think it's the things he's talking about are business principles that can be applied to almost any side hustle, to any business. So what we want to do with this Side Hustle podcast is talk about those things. Some of the things you might like, oh, I already know about that, but that's good, but have you applied that to what we're doing here? So,
has that been a theme or what? I mean, it's a theme in life. It's like, let's go get a bunch of information. Let's consume these podcasts. Let's go take a class.
Yep.
Let's go spend a bunch of money on a class, and then let's just not go out and do it. There's a reason why you read these books, and the people are going, hey, just go out and get started. The hardest part is going out and getting started. The hardest part of doing this podcast was us just going, we got to do it. But Andrew and I are both doers, and we talked about it, and we're like, let's do it. And it's like, I'm like, all right, let's put it on the schedule. When are we doing it? And then
what did I say today? What did I say today? I want to take a nap first for a little while. He goes, nah, we're going to go do this. Guess what? My ass is doing this right now, man. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Should I not be saying that on this podcast?
Well, here we go.
Okay, cool. Hey, so here's what we're going to talk about today. Relationships are king, right? Relationships are so important. So the recurring theme in our conference, I love to boil things down, right? You've heard me say this before. I love to just walk away from a conference and say, there's a lot of tactics we're learning, right? How to do Amazon. This is Amazon FBA, which is like reselling, basically. Okay, that's a huge thing. This is the conference is about. However, you'll see some overriding themes, and what we've heard time and time again is relationships are critical. We have a lot of breakout sessions and talks on different subject matter, which is great. But what continues to be reinforced is meet people, network with people, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So since we've been here, oh my goodness, we've had a lunch with somebody just now, one of the leaders in the community. And we also had a nice conversation with somebody else that we've met through the community, partly through what we're doing with Amazon Influencer. Right. But we've met probably dozens of other people. We've met them, had some good conversations, and we've got their contact information for the future. So it's been really good, and we've met some great people and had some great conversations.
Yeah, we got to talk to Jim Cockrum, the one that's running the show over here, exactly. And we got to talk to actually some of his top leaders. Yeah. One of the ones we had lunch with, and then we had we sit down and talked to Jimmy for a couple hours yesterday. That was very, very good meeting. Good. We have a lot to learn from these guys.
And we're fortunate enough that Amazon Influencer has opened some doors for us, but it didn't open doors by us pushing, just saying, hey, look at us. We actually have been helping people. So, and that's natural in my fiber, and I think Jim as well, just to help other people. So when you help other people, it's going to open some doors for you. You don't have to say, hey, I helped you, you help me now. Well, it's sort of the universal principle. When we do that, I think it's understandable that they're going to be able to make some time for us. It doesn't always work that way. People will take advantage of you for sure. But in the long run, when you help people and give to people, you're going to get that back. And sometimes actually more than you actually give yourself.
So one of the things that they've really been driving home, we got to meet Jim this morning. He was telling us about how, you know, when you serve people,
Yeah.
you get money, you make profits. Okay,
Certificates,
that's the only way you make.
certificates of appreciation.
Yeah, certificates of
Yeah.
appreciation. That's
Yeah.
really the only way that you can make money, other than holding somebody up, is giving them a service and
Yeah.
them appreciating you and paying you for that
Right.
service. So that's where we're here. Sometimes, you do a lot of service for free, and then later on it just magically works out. But typically, things that you put out there for free, helping people, like this free podcast, hopefully it's helping you.
Yeah.
There's just ways that we end up getting things back. That's not the motivation for doing it. Helping people's the motivation for doing it. But of course, we do have to eat. So, and while we're at it, let's just go ahead and head on over to our Facebook page and join up.
Facebook group,
Facebook group. Thank you. Go ahead and tell them what that is.
Side Hustle Heroes HQ.
And then we got the same thing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. But Facebook group is where you want to go, find out more about us, and find out other ways to connect with us.
We have some unique information to help you as well. And so we'll continue to add content to that as time goes on. So yeah, so I meant to go through the agenda for today, but this is a big subject. We're still talking about relationships, but we're also going to talk about the importance of a singular focus. I've been really bad about getting distracted.
Me too.
And so I've heard when you talk to leaders and you hear every single leader say the same thing, focus on one thing, it's probably important to listen to them. So I've probably heard that message from probably 3 different leaders at this conference so far. We're also going to talk about fan pages, and so we keep on learning, and we've talked a lot about fan pages as in getting some pages. The first step of getting approval for Amazon Influencer is getting a fan page with some content on it, getting at least 2,000 followers, ideally an age page. We're going to talk a little bit more about some new information we're hearing about this. It's one of these things where we don't know it for sure if this is the way it works, but we've found that maybe a page with recycled content is not as good as a page with unique content. We'll talk more about that as well. So, and we're also going to talk about Inspire a little bit. If you go to your Amazon app, it's a little bit light bulb where there's all these people who are showing products and everything. A lot of those same products are the same products that actually we're using, that we're uploading as Amazon influencers. Okay, so, and we've talked a little bit about, talking to Jim about this, is, hey man, you should go live.
Yeah.
So you can actually go live.
Before you get too far down the road on this, the one thing he mentioned was the light bulb.
Yeah.
That is I'll show it here. It's right here at the bottom. For the people on the podcast, if you just go to your app, your Amazon app, just like everybody has, right next to the home, which is in the bottom far left, you got the little man in the very middle. Right between there is the light bulb, and that's where you can see the Inspire. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, it's great. So check that out. And so check it out first to see what's going on there. And here's the thing: Jim Med's having a lot of success with this. I am as well, but we haven't done with Amazon Influencer. We haven't done much with Inspire. Mm-hmm. This is the cool thing about this. Sometimes you just figure things out. You don't want to reinvent the wheel necessarily, but there's no wheel to reinvent right now. This is new stuff. Mm-hmm. So in this case, Jim Med's going to check this stuff out, and I think he's going to go live, and we'll see how it goes. But we'll try this out and see how it works. I'm pretty excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
we're just going to try it out for you guys and let you know.
Cool. Okay, so let's wrap up relationships. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so here's the thing. It seems easy in theory just to say, I don't need other people. Exactly. This is how it gets an Amazon influencer. You're probably, those of you who are really here to listen about Amazon influencers, this is where the connection is. Okay, so you might say, I don't need people. I'm just going to review my own products and then, upload them and then make my money and be done with it. What does the relationship have to do with anything? Jim Med, I think you know the answer to that. Once I've been talking a lot here. Why are relationships important with Amazon Influencer?
So if I didn't have any relationships, I was just out on an island doing this review thing on my own, you really don't have anything to compare it with. You don't have anything to celebrate the victories with. We both have spouses and they have some interest in it, but not like Andrew has in it, not like I have in it.
Right.
We're getting some help from them, but not on a high level. So it's just good to have a network of people. We've got Cody into the program now. We've got a group text where all 3 of us are on there.
Yep.
I'm posting, hey, I told about the 50 videos. I said a week from Wednesday, I said, hey, we're getting on a plane next Wednesday. I'm going to have 50. I've got 200 videos. I'll have 250 before we get on the plane. Now I'm accountable. So if I put something out there, I want to hold up and do what I said, and I did. So that helps me, and I try to do it in such a way that's not real braggadocious. I just want to also encourage Andrew and Cody. They're not quite as far along on the journey, but they're building it up and they're getting there. Andrew's $79 day almost beat me that day. I think I only beat you by like $8 or something. So he has never beat me, but yeah, and he probably never will.
Yeah, whatever. But we'll see. But that's one aspect I didn't even thought of. But thank you for bringing that up. But I was thinking also that relationships, as far as opening up doors for more opportunities for reviews, right? So we talked about this last week, probably the last couple of weeks, about networking, going to your friend's house. If you're just someone no one wants to be around, and like it's going to be really hard for you to say, "Can I go over to your house? You don't like me very much." But it's one of those things where my corporate job, you find that you end up. There's so many different reorgs that you find yourself reporting to different people around the company. And if you don't have relationships with those people, it's going to be a lot more miserable. I've always found that I want to know everybody I work with. So that way, when you have to work together, less or more, you'll have that relationship already established. So if you're a good friend to people and you say, hey, this is what I'm doing, would you be willing to help me? Of course they're going to help you out, right? So the whole idea is give to people. Don't wait for situations where you can get in someone's house, but you shouldn't have to twist someone's arm to get permission.
Well, to Andrew's point,
yeah.
and I didn't know that it was exactly where he was going, but
yeah.
I had a breakfast with a buddy of mine last week about the time I just committed to doing the 50 videos, and he offered. He knew I was doing this, and I had caught a few little things while I was over at his place once, and he's like, hey, do you want to shoot some videos while you're here? I was like, yes, I'd love to, I was going to ask him about it. And he offered. I was like, that's great. So I think that was probably about 35 videos of the 66 that I did. It was just at his place, going through items one at a time. He has a bunch of high-end tools, and I know about high-end tools, so it was no problemo for me to jump in there, clear off a spot on his desk, work table area out there, and just start doing videos.
For those who don't speak Spanish, what does that mean?
What does what mean?
You said no problemo.
Oh yeah, it was no problem for me to come in.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. He speaks actually. He's bilingual.
Oh yeah.
Right?
No.
Okay, no.
Not at all.
All right. Anyway, so we talked about this a little bit. And if you hear like, I already heard that last podcast. Well, first of all, thank you for listening to more than one podcast. Okay. But secondly, there's going to be some recurring themes here. That's another thing we learned at this conference. Repetition is a good thing, right? So it's sometimes it's important to our minister, our church is very repetitive as well. Ronnie.
Yep.
Great man. But repetition is very good, and I think it's important as a leader, and actually it's important for you to have that repetition in your life as well, to say, oh yes, let me do this again and again and again. So there's a lot of these principles. The more we do business, the more we realize these things are just like, gosh, I can't remember the word. It's not evergreen, but these are just universal principles of running business. And so the more you can actually plug into those universal principles, you will have more success, right? So think about Amazon Influencer. There's a lot of things just like Amazon Influencer in a sense, but if you want to be successful with this, there's still going to be just a backbone, a foundation of important business principles that will work pretty much in any business. So just remember that. This is not just like, oh, it's different than everything else. No, it's very similar in a lot of ways. You have relationships, you work hard, there's consistency, and let's talk about the segue into singular focus. Why is singular focus important, Jim Ed?
Well, so many times we get wrapped up in side hustles. Andrew and I, a couple podcasts ago, went over all these different side hustles we're involved in. And, the funny thing, there was one that I didn't even mention in there that I think I've made about 10K this year on. And it's just not a focus for me. Had it been a focus, could I have made 60K on it? Probably. Probably. It was just a slow paying out deal. Just wasn't sure if it was legit. I've also been burned on things before as well, where I've done some work and then ended up making sales and not getting paid for them. Nothing through Amazon or anything like that. But I'm finding myself now trying to cut loose of some of these side hustles. Not maybe cut loose is the wrong word.
You prioritize?
Spending less focus on that. I don't focus on those as much. So right now we're in the midst of the summer in Texas. It's hot outside. Being outside welding on iron fences is not the top thing I want to be doing. So when I do that, it's usually a really early morning Saturday project. So I'm not trying to line any of that up. I'm not jumping on the Facebook neighborhood page and saying, hey, I'm available to do this. It's only word of mouth that comes to me, and it's more than I really want because I'm making so much money on this Amazon influencer program. So kind of let the money dictate which direction you need to go. And then, of course, this being a side hustle, make sure you're staying focused on your main job. Make sure you're taking care of business over there so that that stays real stable, or as stable as possible. Sometimes there's things beyond your control there even. And that's where the side hustles become nice. You know, as mentioned in previous podcasts, Andrew lost his job, but it's really looking more and more like how excited he is about the side hustle and how well it's going. And that's more of the Amazon FBA probably than the influencer, but growing your business and kind of doing what you want to do. Andrew, tell us a little bit about how it's been not having to report to your corporate job.
No, it's been good. All right. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that, we're going to miss the money for sure. But my perspective has changed, saying, you know what, this side business is a great opportunity for me to make some money and hopefully replace the income I've had before. My wife has actually had some opportunities to be able to turn what she's been doing into some income as well. So value the position I had before, value the people I work with at my other company. But a tough decision had to be made, and I'm glad to be here where I am right now. So what I've found myself is I really hustled for the first couple weeks, and I've been a month out or so, and now I'm sort of like, it's like, let me try to do some other things here and there, and I realize, okay, these other things over here, they're not necessarily bringing money. The thing that he touched on is Amazon FBA is basically fulfilled by Amazon. So I've been doing that since 2014. For those of you who've listened to my podcast, our podcast, you've heard us talk about some of our things. That's my biggest revenue stream right now is Amazon FBA. So I'm probably going to spend a lot more time focusing on FBA than Amazon Influencer. Even though I see the money coming in, it's going to be my second priority. For him, Amazon Influencer is his top priority. Okay, and everything else falls there. My first priority would be Amazon FBA. What is going to be your second priority for your side hustle?
Well, I'm just going to take care of everything that I've started. If somebody needs some welding help, mainly like the HOA and things, like also work on their mailboxes over there. I had 3 mailboxes a couple weeks ago to redo, and these are really fancy. They're like $800 mailboxes with the post and everything.
Yeah.
So I did 3 of those, which included digging them up and resetting them because they'd been hit. And then the next week I had possibly 3 more to do. And one of them, it was kind of like they didn't like the price because like one person had hit 2 of them, and they add up.
Okay.
So anyway, what I'm saying is I gave them a price. They didn't like the price, so they figured something else out. I didn't try to go, well, I can do it for a little less, or try to make the sale. It's just like, okay, that's cool, because I'm wanting to spend my time on Amazon Influencer, not on welding, mailboxes, all that. So the main focus on side hustles is Amazon Influencer for me, and really.
And then secondly
else.
Nothing else. Wow. Okay.
Nothing else right now, because unless it's going to come to me, I've got a turf project that I'm working on that could. But I'm not doing any work to go out and bring in any of that because it just takes time.
Right. So you're going to find there's freedom in that. When you say, I'm just focusing on one thing, let's just go ahead and be honest. A lot of people say, I'm a multitasker. Multitasker is like, hey, you have a job, you have to do 3 or 4 different tasks. I get it. Okay, with side hustles, these are big things that you're working on. This is one big area, okay? So you can call your job, you have one main function at your job, okay? But you have a lot of tasks. Amazon Influencer, guess what? There's a lot of tasks as well. You need to multitask with Amazon Influencer, right? There's a lot of things you got to do. You got to record the videos, you got to upload the videos, right? So, and then you're going to be looking at your stats. You want to check things out. But the point is, there's one focus. His job right now, other than his main job, is Amazon Influencer. Okay, so there's a freedom in that, saying, I'm not going to worry about other stuff. I won't be distracted. So with me, I'm going to say, and I love what you said earlier. You said, have your goal for me when I'm doing Amazon FBA. I need to source products from stores or whatever, and then create listings and get that product sent into Amazon. Okay, so he said, set a goal for yourself. Have whatever. I want to list find 5 items I'm going to source today and list. If you don't understand that language, just look at the principle of, I have a goal to hit some sort of quota today. Once I hit that goal, then there's an opportunity to work on other things I want to. But if I don't get to it, I don't get to it. The main thing is get that part done. That's the thing that's going to make him the most money for me.
One of the main things I said too, I was like, do your morning routine, take care of things, have
Yeah.
a start time,
Right.
start at 8 a.m.,
Routine.
work till noon, and have a list of what needs to get
Right.
done today in order of importance. Okay,
Yeah.
knock out the most important things first, and then come back from lunch and work till maybe 3 o'clock. You're not having to commute or anything, and then maybe take the rest of the day off. And the rest of the day off might be spend time with the family and everything. It might be spend a little time with the family, and then spend 2 hours on Amazon Influencer for him.
Right.
Because see, if he'll treat his previously side hustle of Amazon fulfilled by Amazon FBA
Yeah.
as his now new day job,
Yep.
and then have the Amazon as the side hustle to the day job.
Love it. Yeah, well said for sure. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I think hopefully this makes sense to you guys. So relationships are so important. The singular focus is so important. Okay, so hopefully if you're listening to this and you're like, you know what, I don't know if Amazon Influencer is for me. Hopefully you can apply this to other aspects of your life. Okay, so we want this to help you in your life. Maybe your main job, these things will help you as well. So we hope that you do have side hustles. You might have a side hustle right now that you're like, hey, I really want to do this other side hustle. Then maybe you should do that instead of Amazon Influencer. Maybe you should do Amazon Influencer, but it's up to you. But whatever is working for you, just apply these principles. I think you'll have success with this.
So one thing
Yeah.
I want to hit on is if
Yeah.
you are Inspire, are you done talking about Inspire? Or
I'm going to talk about fan pages next.
Okay.
So finish your thought.
On Inspire, if you are doing Inspire or have ever done Inspire, have had any success with Inspire, we'd like to talk to you. Send us an email with your phone number, and I will reach out to you personally. I would just like to chit chat about that for a little
Talk
bit.
about. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Inspire. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I mean, it's just new, and I don't know
Yeah.
much about it. I'm going to dive
Yeah.
into it this week, but I'd love to talk to somebody who's already done that.
Yep. We're going to keep learning about this for sure. Part of this kind of getting back into Amazon Influencer, specifically more tactical, is fan pages. We talked about this a little bit. It's part of the process. For those, if this is your first podcast that you're listening to, part of the process of getting into Amazon Influencer, you need to have a social media presence. What does that mean? You need to have a social media account like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, that generally has more than 2,000. TikTok sounds like you can have less, but without getting in the weeds. In general, you want to have about 2,000
Probably less for you too.
minimum. Probably, maybe less for YouTube, but
Probably.
in general, let me put it this way: a high level, you need to have a certain number of followers, and you have a decent level of engagement. And it was less about content. That hey, whatever you have is great, whatever, as long as you have engagement and followers. The more we're hearing, and again, we don't have hard evidence yet, but we're working with a group of people that some people are getting in, some people are not getting in. We're also looking at Facebook groups with active communities. We hear people saying, oh, the reason why you're not getting in is because your fan page has content that's not your own. You've downloaded it from TikTok, you're repurposing content from other people. It's not your own unique content. And so someone said 100% the reason why you didn't get in is because your content is not unique. It's not your own content. So that's the first I've heard about, but I heard two different people, two different conversations, and we've seen some evidence that support that maybe it's important that you have your fan page has things that you're doing yourself. And here's why this makes sense to me, because Amazon Influencer, by the very nature of that word, Amazon Influencer, they want influencers. They want people who look like influencers. Who are influencers? They're content creators. In fact, that's the word that influencers want to be called. They don't want to be called influencers a lot of times. They're content creators. What does that mean to you? They're creating content, their own content generally, right? So that is an important principle. And I think Amazon wants those people that can do that. So is that going to help create better videos for them? Probably will. Yeah, those people who are already creating content are comfortable, guess what? You're probably going to get a lot better content, product video content from them than others. So I get it. Kudos to Amazon for going that direction. I think they're just getting a little bit more strict about this, but these one of these things too. I was telling Jim Ed earlier that I've been doing business for so long. It was back 20 years ago. It's about unique articles. When you're writing articles for your blog, it's about having unique articles, your own articles, not taking something from somewhere else and spinning it, so to speak, where you're just like making it look like it's from you. Now with AI and everything now, artificial intelligence, it's a whole nother game. So the importance of unique content has always been pretty important, and now it's becoming really important, I think, for Amazon influencers. So how do you do this? How do you come up with, we'll talk more about this on other podcasts, but how do you come up with unique content? It could be as simple as this. Like you've got a lot of creation content creation tools like Canva, for instance, where you can take, they're providing some video content, they're providing photos for sure, but yes, is that your content? Did you create the photo? Not necessarily, but it's what you do with that, right? You're putting unique spin, you're putting text, you're putting the colors, you're doing different combinations of these things. That, in my opinion, is creating your own content. So say for instance, you want to have, I don't know, like you want to have Bible verses or something where in the background you have an ocean scene and you just have famous verses that you're having. So your whole fan page is about, inspirational scriptures, for instance. You might create every day or so, you're just posting a new video or just a static post, a video, a image post. That's, to me, as far as I'm concerned, that is a unique post, right? You're not taking a meme from somewhere else on TikTok and just downloading it and putting it on your page or sharing it. This is something you're coming up with yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So I think when we're coaching other people, we're going to start saying, okay, when you have a fan page, you can repurpose an old page that you haven't done anything with, but think about, instead of regurgitating, I call it regurgitating, which sounds kind of gross sometimes, but instead of taking content that's recycled from another social media site, if you will, or somewhere else, come up with your own stuff. Come up with your own unique spin on something.
We've been seeing some of this firsthand with some of the people we're working with. So they did grab some viral stuff from TikTok, put it on their Facebook page, advertise it, got the amount of likes in about 3 or 4 days, and got accepted right in. Put their videos up, and then once the human gets to go and dive into the account and take a look at it, we're connecting the dots, which it's never super clear, but it's kind of the breadcrumbs are leading toward, hey, they don't like your influencer page. And we've had actually one person that his influencer page they didn't like because of stuff that was mentioned on the page.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. So this might be a little confusing if you're like, how does this work? Okay, so if you have what we're seeing so far, if you have a page that basically it's hollow content, it's rehashed content, but you have your 2,000 followers, say, like, let's just talk about Facebook. Facebook, 2,000 followers, some level of engagement, you've run some ads, you're in the first round. They say, yep, auto approved. You hit those metrics, those high level metrics. Okay, you get to the video phase, you get your videos through, like as far as they're published.
Yeah, however, the bot looked at it. Nothing was wrong.
Yeah. However, 2-3 days later, we're hearing your video content is not up to the standards that we're looking for Amazon Influencer. You are not accepted. Okay, so you have 2 more chances to get in with that social media platform, but it might be confusing because nowhere do they say it's a social media platform.
It really leads you to believe your videos aren't any good, the 3 videos you uploaded.
And I've honestly seen the videos we've seen that have been rejected, they are 100% fine, okay? We've gotten pretty good at looking at these things, and we're saying these are fine. So again, this is not hard evidence, and hopefully we'll have more proof later, but we feel like that the social media platform is contributing to this. Amazon's just not being completely clear about this. Nothing against them. I understand that they don't want to tell you exactly why, but that's why we're reading between the lines that we think that's it. So I'm going to do some testing on my end. We'll have more information about that, but we're going to try to get what we've been doing with our coaching. People we're coaching is saying, how about put some more unique content on your Facebook page, reapply in a month or so, and then create 3 new videos and see if you can get in that second time. So that's what we're encouraging others to do. If you're in a situation where you're kind of starting from scratch, awesome. Take our advice, and we'd love for you to let us know if you've gotten in with our advice that we're offering.
Yeah, communicate with us. Ask us questions. Get on the Facebook group. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, so I think this is a little bit shorter and sweeter than usual, but I think hopefully this was helpful for you. We got our conference is still going on, so we have a little bit of a moment to be able to do this today, but we wanted to get this done while we're kind of at the conference, excited about what we're hearing. So I love these kind of things because I don't know about you, my brain's just moving. And even for you, he's not doing Amazon FBA. He's not doing resell on Amazon. He's at a conference that's all about that. And by the way, this opened the door for us to get tickets. We got complimentary tickets because of this is what we're doing. So really cool. We're very appreciative of the opportunity to meet, rub shoulders with some really great people, and to get a opportunity to come here, certainly discounted. We've paying for airfare and everything like that in hotels, but it was a great opportunity for us. And I think, Jim, this is hopefully worth your time as far as being here and everything,
Yeah.
because I've learned a ton, and I know you've met some great people, and I think you've learned a ton as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little more about kind of why we were up here. We were invited up here by Jim Cochran. He's the one that's putting on this program. Andrew has posted to the Facebook group about the Amazon Influencer Program and posted up one of my either record days or close to record days.
To Jim Cochran's Facebook page,
Yeah,
to Jim Cochran's Facebook group
Right.
of 70,000 plus people.
right. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got about 73,000 people. Crazy thing is, nobody's heard of it. Not really. So what happened
Most
was
people have not,
Most
yeah.
people had not. Jim threw it out there to a small group of his leaders, coaches and leaders, and said, "Hey, will any of you guys be willing to try this out? Let's see if it'll work." So right now, what we're doing is helping some of these leaders and coaches get into the program. So when you hear us talking about different people and here's what we're trying out with them, that's who we're working
Yeah.
with. So what we will have is testimonials eventually about how we did and about how the coaching worked and how the classes worked and how they were successful with it. We've got Eric in. We looked over his videos. He got right in. He's making money. Cody's in and making money. Who else is in?
Gay.
Gay is in. She's not making money yet, but she's all the way into the program and ready to start posting more videos to make money. So we're only working with what, six or seven people, and we're having a pretty good success rate. So hopefully that we can help you too. So if you need anything we can help, put on the Facebook group, jump on there and ask some questions, put some comments in. We look forward to hearing from you.
And we'd love, if you stumbled on this, you're looking for maybe someone to be on your show. We're inviting people. Hey, if you want to talk about something, come on our show. But if you're interested in having us as guests on your show, obviously we'd love to be able to talk about our experience with this. So yeah, if you're looking for some, whatever you want to call it, talent or someone else to talk about something, we love to be part of your show. So we're completely open to that. And we love the spirit that we have. We truly want to have this. We try to be as humble as possible. We want to continue to help people no matter how much success we've had. So at the highest level of success, if you start making $15,000 a month, hopefully I'll make you even want to help people even more. I look at him as he inspires me, pun intended, with Amazon Inspire. He inspires me to push harder. So again, surround yourself with people who are going to push you. If you don't have anyone right now, let us be your coaches, so to speak. Your virtual coaches that will help you out. So if this podcast, for some of you, it might be enough. But if you want us to help you more, reach out to us. Our email address is sidehustleheroeshq@gmail.com. Again, you can find us on your Facebook group. It's not going to be hard to find us. Okay, so if you type in Side Hustle Heroes HQ in Google, you will find us somewhere. Okay.
Of course, it's on the show notes as well.
Show notes as well, and yeah, so not hard to find. We're coming to you from, where are we again?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
First time here.
First time here. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's a great city. We've had some, good food here, good times. So
All right, another good
Yeah.
podcast in the books.
All right.
Good job, Andrew.
over and out.